What is a scientific report? Scientific paper is an academic paper commonly used to report experimental research. The data presented were gathered from testing hypotheses by carrying out a procedure under highly controlled conditions, manipulating a certain variable, its effect on a dependent variable, cause and effect relationship, and exposing participants to certain treatments. In other words, it is like making an experimental report. Scientific reports are like research papers too. They are longer than survey reports because of its thoroughly discussions regarding the materials, methods of experimentation used, and discussion of the result. To know more about how to write a scientific report, we must know the parts that builds the report. First, the part that shows the shortest abstract of what the report is all about, the title. The part of the paper that is read the most and usually reads first. It should be descriptive, direct, accurate, and should not be misleading. It's usually composed of 10 to 21 and should reflect the factual content of the paper.
What is abstract? An abstract summarizes the idea and the purpose of the report, including here the sequence of most significant aspects of the entire paper, such as the overall purpose of the study and the research problems investigated. The abstract allows you to elaborate on each major aspects of the paper. These are the types of abstract. The first one is a critical abstract, which describes main findings and information and the judgment about the study's validity or completeness. The second one is the descriptive abstract. It indicates the type of information found in the work. The third one is the informative abstract. It explains all the main arguments and the important results and evidence in the paper. And lastly, the highlight abstract, specifically written to attract the reader's attention to the study. Hence, enough key information like summary findings, observations, patterns, and etc. must be included to make the abstract useful to the one who may want to examine your work.
Introduction is the topic of the report. It must provide scientific purpose or objectives so that the readers will have sufficient understandings why it is being conducted. It must also cover the background that will aid in understanding the rest of the report.
A scientific report usually consists of materials and methods. The materials and methods used in the experiments should be reported in this section. When procedures from a lab book or another report are followed exactly, simply cite the work, noting that details can be found in that particular source. This can be done in a short paragraph, possibly along with a drawing of the experimental apparatus. Generally, this section attempts to answer the following questions such as what materials were used, how were they used, and where and when was the work done.
The results section should simply state the findings without bias or interpretation in order to be logical. The data should be organized into tables, figures, graphs, photographs, and so on.
All figures and tables should have descriptive titles and should include a legend explaining any symbols, abbreviations, or special methods used.
In this kind of academic text that has complexity, discussions are necessary. Results need interpretation so that the readers will understand what the data tries to convey. Considering the last part of the scientific report, the researchers and/or writers should relate the data to the related issues and related studies that were stated in the introduction part. The researchers and/or writers should explain their main hypothesis, whether what parts are approved and rejected, and should be explained in a logical method. Therefore, future researchers and/or writers will identify the shallow parts that need improvements for the experimental scientific report through the researchers and/or writers' suggestions and recommendations.
Literature cited. It refers to the citation of specific references in the text. Footnotes aren't going to be used here. Instead, you can cite articles through author's name and date of publication. For example, hormones are known to influence the nest-building behavior of catbirds. Fox, 1988. Fox, in 1988, investigated the hormones and the nest-building behavior of catbirds. Note: Number 1. If there are two authors, then both names must be listed. Number 2. If there are 2 or more authors involved, et al. Is used. It is a Latin word meaning and others.